This is the new Ford Kuga. I've got to say, having driven it for just over a week, I'm properly impressed. Initially, when we were told we were going to be getting one of these on test, I was like, well, it probably wouldn't be in my top 5, mid-sized compact SUVs to go out and test drive. But having driven it now for a number of days, I've got to say, guys, get down and give one of these a test drive, because I think you're going to be suitably impressed. It's a proper good family car. At the end of the day, I've found a couple of bits and pieces that I'm personally not keen on. But, that's not derogatory to the actual product itself. But we'll mention that later on in the review. It's available in a number of different trim levels. You've got mild hybrids, you've got plug-in hybrids, you've got recharging hybrids. So there's a lot going on for this car when it comes to economy and value for money. It was launched back in 2008, and originally Ford were going to call this the X-Max, can you believe it? Luckily they kept with the big cat theme, because as you're probably aware, the Puma, that's the younger brother to this car, is another big cat. We've reviewed that car. I absolutely love the Ford Puma. Check up there now if you want to watch that review, or come back to this after you've watched this review. And all in, between the two cars, I know the other one's the younger brother, but I think you might find both of these cars are very good. Initially, yes, I wasn't too keen on it, but now, definitely, I'm going to give it 100% on this review. So, let's get around it, let's get underneath it and give you our verdict of the new Ford Kuga. You're watching me, AJ, on the Player YouTube channel. This is how a car should sound. Listen to this.
I didn't really push it either. I was just having a really fun.
Oh really? There you have it, guys. The Ferrari Roma. Wheel spring. Outside, God. Trust me, no. Here we go. We're going to meet the crew and hopefully get the thing out.
I think it makes a good work.
Let's go,
Nice to
mate.
start.
Nice to see you.
Show us your big chopper, your helicopter. So here we are, the Morgan Roadster. Hey guys, guess what? It's another morning here out in sunny France. So this is the Mark III version of the Ford Kuga, and it's slightly bigger than its predecessor, a little bit longer and a little bit wider. However, it's 90 kilograms less weight, which makes it a lot more agile when you get it out on the road. Now you can get these in self-charging hybrids, mild hybrids, or one we've got here is a plug-in hybrid. There's 8 different colours to choose from, including this grey that we've got here. Although it's a little bit dirty today because we have been out road testing it, but my colour choice would be the red. When you get down to the showroom for your test drive, have a look at the red. It's absolutely zinging. 5 different trim choices to go for as well. Entry-level car is called the Z-Tech. Now the Z-Tech, you will get 17-inch alloys, you get LED daytime running lights, you get privacy glass at the back, then you get a host of stuff inside like sat-nav, DAB radio, Apple Play, what do you call it, Android, mirroring, that sort of stuff, cruise control, autonomous braking in town, front and rear parking sensors. Pretty much it nails it even on the entry-level car. And at the end of the day, all cars end up with keyless entry and keyless ignition. Right, let's check out under the bonnet what the engine and gearbox configurations are. Bonnet release catch in the passenger footwell, here in the UK that is. Double pull, there's no bonnet catch, so you don't have to get your fingers under there, start fiddling around, get greasy and dirty. Don't forget, if you're driving a left-hand drive version of this car, it's going to be in the driver's footwell, because it's not going to be swapped around, so don't quote me on that one. Anyway, nice light bonnet on this car, very light indeed. I would have liked to have seen a couple of gas struts. That would have been nice. It would have just made it, you know, just pop up on its own. However, not to be. We'll put the little bonnet stay back there. Okay, so now the engine choices you're going to get with this car are going to depend on what trim level you go for. You've got a 1.5 litre petrol or diesel. You've got a 2 litre diesel, or there's a 2.5 litre petrol engine, all 4-cylinder. All cars come as front wheel drive only. There's no all wheel drive version of this car. There is, in the modes, which we'll talk about when we get it out on the road, a slippery section in the mode setting. I'll show you how you can use that when we get it out on the car, out on the road itself. This particular car is the plug-in hybrid electrical. It is the top of the range, well, one of the top of the range. This is the ST Line X, and this car and the Vignale, that's the top of the range, they get the 2.5 litre petrol engine coupled up to the electric motor, and you've got the plug-in hybrid section of that. And you will get, Ford tell me, 200 plus miles to the gallon. Now this car's been doing very well. It hasn't quite made 200 plus miles to the gallon, but once again, I'll talk about the difference in the hybrids and things like that when we're out on the road. But it's a very, very good engine on this car. Gearboxes, you've got a 6-speed manual, got an 8-speed auto, and then sadly, this 2.5 litre only comes with a CVT. And I know what you're saying, what a shame. It is a shame, because I'd have loved to have had this with an 8-speed auto. I think that would have just finished it off really nicely, because it's one of the only downfalls I feel with this car. I'm not a big lover of the CVT gearbox. Any comments, stick them in the comment box down below. Now, even on the 1.5 litre, you're going to be getting around about 40 plus to the gallon, and on the 2 litre, thereabouts as well, because both engines are pretty much churning out about the same brake horsepower. So all in all, loads of choice when it comes to what's under the bonnet here, and plenty of choice when you get it out on the road. Round at the back of the Kuga, well, it's rather large, like most Kugas. Joking apart, I think it's rather sporty, very urban, very rugged. I do like the design in actual fact. You've got this spoiler running across the top here. It's very aerodynamically friendly, shall we say, because you can see it runs down the side here. And it also helps to keep this clean, he says, looking how dirty it is. But if you can't keep that clean, then you do get a wash wipe with this car, no matter what trim level you go for. Again, you've got the privacy glass. I mentioned that at the beginning. Privacy glass comes even on the entry-level cars. A lot of other manufacturers charge you extra for that. This is a floaty rear screen as well, so you've got this lovely pin-sharp line all the way round, and it also means you don't get any water trapped in there and the rust starts setting in, if you know what I mean. On everything except the entry-level cars, every trim level, you get LED rear tail lights as well, and you will get on all cars twin exhausts down the bottom, and they're not fake either, and you've got some nice chrome outputs there on the back there. I really like that. Assisted tail lift on everything except for the Z-Tech, your entry-level car. So you've got electronic assisted tail lift, 526 litres of boot space. You can make that into nearly 1,500 litres of boot space by pulling one of these levers like that. One seat pops down there. It's sort of an 80-20 split on there, and then you pull the other one over here like that, and that pops down as well. Look at that. Absolutely huge. You get a bike in there, you're going to get about 10 suitcases in there. It's massive. You could even spend the weekend in there if you want. I like the fact this is quite a low load lift as well, so you've only got to lift up and throw straight in there. Underneath here is where you keep your cables. You get 2 cables with the plug-in hybrid electrical version. So you've got the 13 amp cable there, that's for plugging in your neighbours when they're not looking, so you can juice up your car. Takes about 7 hours though, so make sure they've gone out for the day. You've also got your spare cable when you're out on the road as well. Fast charging on this takes around about 3.5 hours as well. You're going to get around about 35 to 40 miles of pure electrical energy on the plug-in hybrid electrical version of this car. Got a 12-volt adapter over here, and all in all, some really nice space. Now this car benefits from one special appendage, and I've got to show you. It's a double push over here. You push that like that, and we'll play the music because it takes a while. I think you'll get the gist of it. Here we go. £600 gets you a tow bar. Before I jump in the back, show you what it's like for the passengers, check out the rake on this door, how far back that angle goes. That is really good for putting kiddie seats in like that, or if you've got to help elderly or, you know, aged people in and out of the car, mum and dad, things like that. Also, lovely big windows on this. That's going to help with car sickness for anybody who suffers from that as well. Let's, before I jump in again, I just want to point out that you can lower the seats. You've got a handle here, really nice. I like the fact that the seatbelt is connected like that as well, because it doesn't get all caught up when you push that back up like that, which is really nice. It also comes forward, check that out. So you've got that versatility in the boot, as well as when you get in, check this out, you've also got, oh, it's very nice and comfortable, got a handle here so you can actually push it back. So you've got a slight angle in the back here. I've got to say, there's tons and tons of leg room in here. It's absolutely amazing. We have got the benefit in here of the panoramic sunroof. I think it's a nice extra to have. It does make it feel a lot bigger in the back here as well. It's much more airy. I like the fact that these seats are sort of scalloped back here, so that is giving you a lot more extra room. Got a place to put bits and pieces in there, whatever you need. Independent heating in the back, but not the actual temperature control. So when I mean heating, independent air vents, shall we say. So you can turn the air on and off. You've got a USB-C and a USB standard down there, so you're going to be able to plug in and charge any of the bits in here. The actual finish on this, really nice. It's like feels like a bit of Alcantara. It's a good finish for kids as well, because this is a wipe-friendly surface. You need to bear that in mind. Recessed seat belts, and what I also love is the fact that you haven't got any fancy Isofix covers. You know, the ones that you always end up losing, then they charge you like $100 extra to replace them when at the end of the lease or whatever. These are just simply plug and play, which is really nice. In the centre here, we've got a nice armrest with a double cup holder. Again, lovely, all nice and simple. That's what I like about it. Let's try in the middle here, a very low tunnel in the middle as well. The transmission tunnel, very low, so that means you can climb across easily. Just going to slide into the middle, see what it's like for the middle passenger. Do you know what? Nothing wrong with this at all. I could easily sit here for a little while on the way. You know, if I was getting a lift back, especially being to the pub, had a boozy lunch, if you know what I mean. It'd be nice to sit there in the middle if you had to. But all in all, tons of space, tons of headroom, and can't really fault it in the back. Well done, Ford. Good stuff. Out on the road in the Kuga, the first thing you're going to notice is how comfortable it is in this car. It's absolutely incredible. But then you wouldn't expect anything less of Ford. They've been building cars for a long time now. They should know how to put a driver in a position that he feels comfortable. In this car, you do get an electronically adjustable seat, which is really nice. But with the steering setup, you can move it in any position you want. So it doesn't matter how tall you are or how short you are, you're going to find the perfect driving position. In front of you, you've got a 12.3-inch digital cluster. Really nice. You don't get it on the entry-level car though, I will mention that. So anything above the entry level, you've got that nice digital cluster on there. You've got a decent TFT touchscreen, and to be honest with you, your all-round peripheral vision, absolutely nailed in this car. However, and this comes back to one of my little bugbears with this car, this pillar here. And out of the whole thing, as I said right at the beginning, there's a couple of things that really, you know, I'm not too keen on, and this is one of them. It's so thick. Even at T-junctions, you are having to literally move move forward to look round because it's right in the way there. And I'm quite surprised that that actually got let through when it came to the production side of this car. However, if you're willing to forgive it that, there is only, you know, one other little thing which we'll mention in a minute, and that, apart from it, is about it. This car is so good at what it does, which is carting the family about, getting down to the shops, getting to the school, taking the dogs out, and at the end of the day you can take this on a decent run, because unless you run out of petrol, you know, it doesn't matter if you run out of juice in your battery, the engine takes over at the end of the day, because this is the plug-in hybrid. Now we'll talk a little bit about hybrids in a minute. I just want to talk about those other bits and pieces that you get with this car. You get your aircon, you get that nice TFT touchscreen as I mentioned, and you will get things like double cup holder down here. You've got a place to charge your iPhone. There's a standard USB and a USB-C in there. You've got a 12 volt in there. You then got a little area here for knickknacks and bits and pieces. You've got a cubby in here with a separate little tray here, which I've got my keys on. And inside there you can, you know, get a couple of bits in there. There's phones, all sorts of stuff. Decent sized glove box with this car as well, which is good. I'm going to talk about a couple of extra bits and pieces very quickly that I think are worth you paying. They're on this car, so I can show you, which is really good. First up is this panoramic sunroof. extra £1,045 UK pounds, but it's really, really worth it, I think. Gives it a nice airy feel in here, and it opens. So during the summer, if you don't want the aircon on, you know, sometimes you get a bit fed up, the aircon makes you very dry and stuff like that. You can actually open that up and allow the air to filter through into the car. You know, you get that wind in your hair. I just realised I haven't felt that for a long time. Anyway, joking apart, you know what I'm talking about. It's nice, £1,045, well worth. Another thing which I think is really worth it, and I've only noticed it this week because it's been extremely cold here in the UK, is the driver's winter pack that you can get with this. So that gives you, for an extra 550 UK pounds, front heated seats, rear heated seats for the passengers, and you get a heated steering wheel, which means it's nice and toasty when you get in for your hands. And I've really appreciated this week. It's been -3, -4 here in the UK, so that is that's a must. I must say, you've got to get yourself one of the winter's pack. Another thing you'd get with the entry-level car, with the Z-Tech in entry-level car, you will get cruise control, but that's about it. You get the collision avoidance system that comes as part of the entry-level car as well, and you get the front and rear beepers. But with this driver's assistance pack that you can get, you will get things extra like the lane keepy, the distance control, blind spot mirrors, you get front and rear cameras, and you get the park assist. It's all included in the driver's assistance pack. Now that is £1,100 UK pounds extra. I highly recommend it. I'm disappointed because I would love to see manufacturers giving us blind spot mirrors included in the price, because I think they're an essential part of today's modern driving. However, with Ford's case, you've got to buy the driver's assistance pack for those extra bits and pieces. It's nice to have, because I like having it's nice to have cruise control, but at the end of the day, the distance and the lane keepy and lane departure warning and all that stuff, and the sign recognition, especially if you're in a town where you're not familiar with the speed limits and things like that. It's popping up here now, letting me know. It's well worth getting. So add those few extra bits and pieces I've just mentioned, definitely worth taking a look at when you go down for a test drive. A couple of final bits and pieces. So as I mentioned when we were talking under the bonnet, this car comes as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, which is the one that we've got here. It will give you between 25 and 38, 39 miles of pure electrical energy. It takes around 3.5 hours on a fast charge and around 7 hours on one of your 13 amp chargers. On top of that, another bit that I wanted to mention, as again with the hybrid systems, you've got a self-charging hybrid system on this car as well. Not this particular one, but you have a choice of that, and you've also got the mild hybrid as well. So there's plenty of choice when it comes to which hybrid you want to go for. But I really like the plug-in hybrid electric version. I think it's well worth getting if you're not going to be if you've got that range anxiety and stuff like that. This car is just very, very handy for doing the jobs around town. Now, what you also get with the plug-in hybrid, you've got there's a button down here, it's called the EV button. You can actually change that by pushing that button. You'll come up and you can change it to have it in normal mode, where it's actually putting back battery power from residual energy, from coasting, from braking. It's called kinetic energy. It goes back into the battery. It won't fully charge the battery, but it will keep it topped up. You can then set that with another push of the button. You can go into all electric mode, where you're just using the battery if you want to, and then you can go into save that battery for later. So when you go, so if you're on a run and you want to just, use the engine, and then when you come into a town, you can actually do that yourself. But just set it in the auto and let it do it itself. But at least you've got the button down there. You don't have to fiddle about with that TFT touchscreen. Now, finally, I'm going to talk about the modes on this car and the gearbox here. Well, not the gearbox, but the actual gear settings here, the gear knob. We've got a nice knob here. We've got a mode button down here. It's 5 different modes. We've got the normal mode, which is what it starts up in. You've then got an eco mode. By pushing the button once or going into eco mode twice, you get a nice little display comes up on your cluster. In the eco mode, obviously, then you've got a slippery mode. Now, slippery mode is really good for slippery surfaces, obviously, and it will slightly change how much power is going down on the engines. It gives you a little bit slower takeaway, pull away, things like that. It's really, really good. I've used it, and in some of these minus degree conditions that we've had here in the UK, and I've got to say, even on the frozen roads, this car has behaved impeccably. Your next mode is a sport mode. That gives you a little bit more bang for your buck with the throttle, so she's accelerating away a lot better now. My other biggest bugbear with this car, the CVT gearbox. Hate them. You can hear it now. Here we go, listen. It's really grinding. It's really, I just don't like it, to be honest with you. That's in the sport mode. So they're the two bugbears that I was talking about. Then you go into snow and assist mode. Again, really slippery conditions, heavy snowfall. If you're going up a mountain, you're going skiing or something with this car, good to put it in that. And then back into the normal mode. So there you have 5 modes. You've got your EV settings as well. This car also comes with a park assist, so it will help you with the parking. You've got the front and rear cameras, which I mentioned. On your gearing down here as well, you've got no flappy paddles, just to let you know. So what they've done is, Ford, the lovely people, have put a low gear setting in here as well, because sometimes when you are driving in slippery conditions, you only really want to drive in an automatic in first and second gear. So if you put it into the low gear mode, it will remain in first and second gear, and that's a little option that is quite nice to have on this car, I feel. So there you have it, guys. It's a great car to drive. There's a few extra bits and pieces I think you should be investing in, and at the same time, you know, it's just generally really nice to be out on the road in the Ford Kuga. So there you have it, guys, the Ford Kuga. What did I think of it? I think it's a cracking car, and I think you should head on down to your local Ford sales room and give one a test drive. Get out on the road in one, because at the end of the day, I can wax lyrical about cars and say how good they are, but if it doesn't suit you, then obviously it's not meant for you. So get down, give one a test drive. Price-wise, the entry-level car starts at around 30,000 UK pounds. For a top-of-the-range car, you're going to be paying in excess of £40,000, but that does come fully loaded. Now, don't forget I mentioned all the other extra bits and pieces that I felt I would like to put on this car. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. Ford give a reasonable warranty with this car. You do get 3 years or 60,000 miles, whichever comes first. In addition to that, you will get 1 year roadside assistance, 3 years paint warranty, 12 years anti-corrosion, and not forgetting the most important part of all, which is the 8 years or 100,000 mile battery warranty. You're going to need that with this car because this is the plug-in hybrid, so it's got a battery on it. Now don't forget, all of these warranties are extendable and they're fully transferable. So if you keep the car 3 years and you want to pass that on to the new owner, they can all be transferred straight into the new owner's name. Nice and simple. Ford keep it simple. That's what I like about the Kuga. That's the most important bit. You've been watching me, AJ, on the Player YouTube channel. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment. Any comments, leave them in the box down below. One of the team will get back to you in due course. In the meantime, if you want to subscribe, then simply do so, because we love you subscribing. Subscribers mean we get a pat on the back for all the work that we've done, because the bosses go, you're up on the subscribers this month. Excellent. Don't forget, if you do subscribe and you want to see more of what we do, because we don't just do car reviews, as you saw at the beginning in the video, we do loads of other bits and pieces, leave the bell sign unchecked and you'll get regular updates whenever we load a video up. So simple as that. Now, one thing, I want to offer you something for free, completely gratis, as they say. You haven't got to pay for any of this, what I'm about to give you. It's called the Player Bookazine, because, as I said, the Player is a much bigger, or bigger entity than just doing YouTube. Yes, we are a 220-page men's bookazine. A bookazine, you're probably going, what's a bookazine? It's a magazine with a hardback cover. There you go, simple as. Comes out every quarter, every 3 to 4 months, and it's got 220 pages of everything we love, us guys love. It's got cars, it's got boats, it's got motorcycles, jet skis, food, holidays, golf. Yeah, if you're into your golf, we do golf reviews as well. Interviews with celebrities, sportsmen, all different things. Check it out. Head over to www.theplayer.co.uk. Hang on, I'm going to make it easy for you. By the magic of edit, here we go. It's coming in there, down there. There you go. I'll leave it down there for a couple of minutes. Head over there. Just simply put your name in and your email. That's it. There's nothing else to do. It's so easy. And then you can either read it online, zoom in, zoom out, turn the pages, or you can download it and read it at your leisure whenever you fancy it. So there you go. Something for nothing, because you watch me, AJ, on the Player YouTube channel. Guys, this was the Ford Kuga. I'm AJ from the Player. You've been watching us too. I'll catch you next week with something a bit different, hopefully equally as good as that car.